The season is over. It's done. No one cares about your little Champions League and FA Cup finals, mate, okay? They're pathetic. So here it is. Top 10 football f***ups of the season. At number 10, it's West Brom. Deservedly relegated after an abysmal season, not including the last couple of weeks where superhero Darren Moore came in to almost save them. Like someone perfectly extinguishing a fire in just one of the rooms of the Twin Towers. Is it too early in the video for a joke like that? Don't know. West Brom were always going to be in a relegation battle. Unfortunately, the man really good at coming in and stopping teams getting relegated was already their manager. And after a rough start, they sacked him, which at first we all thought was so that they could rehire him. Sack your manager, hire Tony Pulis, stay up. That's how it works. It doesn't matter if the manager you sacked was Tony Pulis. He thrives when coming to the rescue. It's all in the mind. Instead, West Brom hired Alan Pardew, the worst man in the world. And after just one league win in 18 matches, he too was sacked. And despite impressive results from Darren Moore, it was a classic case of too little, too far away from the time it needed to have been done by. But the real f***up is that back in February, 4 West Brom players stole a taxi, took it to the McDonald's drive-thru and abandoned it outside the hotel they were staying at. And that all happened in Barcelona, where McDonald's is called Spain. Johnny Evans, Boaz Myhill, Gareth Barry and Jake Livermore, the dads of West Brom, out behaving like children. I bet they got themselves ironically named Happy Meals as well, didn't they? Pathetic. Well, actions have consequences, boys, and now Jake Livermore is not in the England squad, presumably as a direct result of that. Johnny, Boaz and Gareth, I can't thank you enough. Number 9, Frank de Boer. This is the third time I've discussed him in Football F***ups now, but it really is mystical quite how appalling he was as Palace manager. It didn't start great as Crystal Palace announced him with a photo of his brother Ronald, which incidentally is the first name of Jake Livermore's hero. Then Frank did some chat about wanting a revolution at Palace and whatnot, and then he was sacked after just 4 Premier League games, all of which were defeats, all in which Palace failed to score. De Boer broke the record for shortest amount of games in charge of a Premier League side. And then Palace broke the record for going the longest amount of games without scoring before beating Chelsea 2-1. I would say the f*** up is Chelsea here, but I said that last time. And what we must respect is where this all began. De Boer was only able to take the Palace job because it was vacant. It was only vacant because little Sammy Allardyce had left it so, unexpectedly quitting after keeping Palace up the year before. Little Sam Allardyce's exit was such a shock that it prompted Andros Townsend to tweet just one word, and that word was wow. And wow is exactly the word you'd use to describe how good Roy Hodgson turned out to be as De Boer's replacement. But how would you say that wow? Well, there's a few options. I'm not going to do them now, just letting you know there are a few options. Up to you. Number 8 is Spurs, another year without a trophy. Unless you're counting the top team in London trophy, which I am. So, a year with a trophy. After a couple of years of fairly universal praise for Spurs from pundits and media types alike, fans of other clubs began to become restless. Desperate for a Spurs scandal so they could let out all the banter they had bottled up and really put the pressure on Spurs on social media the way Spurs put the pressure on Leicester and Chelsea and Man United. After the Wembley curse failed to materialise beyond the first month or so of the season, it was a godsend to fans everywhere when a Dele Alli sex tape emerged via Snapchat. People were shocked by what they saw. A girl on Snapchat without a dog filter. Scandalous. Thankfully, it didn't end there for scandal, as not long after the football world was turned upside down as professional striker Harry Kane requested that a goal he had scored was credited to him correctly. To be fair, it was a bit embarrassing as the ball at best grazed his shoulder on the way in and he was willing to swear on his daughter's life in an official inquiry he had forced Spurs to make. And all supposedly for a golden boot he didn't win anyway. And the whole ordeal meant that we had to listen to Harry Kane claimed it jokes for weeks after. Nightmare. Number 7, Harry Kane. I hate myself. I hate myself. Number 7 is Barcelona, who you may recognise from the West Brom story earlier. First I'd heard of it. 3 goals up after beating Roma 4-1 in the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final, only to go and get knocked out by losing 3-0 in the second leg. Meanwhile, Liverpool battered Man City, then held on to beat Roma and are in the final. And all after Coutinho forced a move so he could win the Champions League. Amazing. Just like how Dimitri Payet forced a move from West Ham so that he could win silverware, and then Marseille lost in the Europa League final, while West Ham have gone on to, well, because they... It doesn't work as a comparison. Number 6, West Ham. F me, what a season. There's been unrest with the fans for some time now. Their move to the London Stadium has been an absolute f***fest carnival, and frankly, Terry and Dino are sick of the Dildo Brothers and their dodgy ways. This all culminated in a mass protest in their home match against Burnley. Fans congregated in front of the board to give them a big, long stare, which people compared to a scene from The Walking Dead, which I haven't seen, so I don't know. They started throwing coins at David's Gold and Sullivan, forgetting the Davids are absolutely obsessed with money and they thought Christmas had come early because they'd ordered a Walking Dead DVD. Good stuff. Then some maniacs legged it onto the pitch and started moving furniture around. Moving a corner flag to, get this, the centre circle. Holy shit, point made! If you keep f***ing us about, Golden Sullivan, I'll move one of the other corner flags. Oh, where will I move it to? I don't know, mate. Maybe the edge of the box? Yes, or maybe I'll put it in goal. Yeah, it'd have more chance of getting in the World Cup squad than Joe Hart. Gold. One of the pitch invaders even ended up getting body slammed by Mark Noble, which was not enough to strike fear into Paul Pogba when the two squared up recently. West Ham ended up finishing 13th, unlucky for some, and the third David, Moyes, has since parted company with the club. Well lads, Frank de Boer's available. Number 5, Leeds. Sure, they announced a pre-season tour in a war-torn country currently in the grips of ethnic cleansing with warnings from the Foreign Office against any non-essential travel and a red alert for terrorist attacks. But remember when they announced that shitty badge? That was shit, that badge. I hate that badge. A tweet that read, 6 months of research, 10,000 people consulted, ready for the next 100 years. How long did the badge last? Literally 0 days. Everyone went mad about it and they had to sack it off when a petition against it got 78,000 signatures. Looking at the badge, it seems the 10,000 people they consulted were a combination of falconers, waiters practicing serving wine, white power extremists and the Gaviscon man. Their new badge is expected to be announced before next season, and I for one can't wait. Maybe it'll include a machete to honour their time in Myanmar. Myanmar is the name of the place, not Myanmar. Number 4, signing announcement videos. There's too many to go into detail, but I know a lot of you are young. It's exam season, and maybe when you fail them, you'll be applying for jobs soon. Well, if you land a job as a social media manager for a football club, be warned. You will at some point be forced to convince Antonio Rudiger to stand with his nose pressed up against a stockroom wall while a 6-year-old businessman demands his name on the back of a shirt. Other highlights include Alexis Sanchez's take on the John Lewis Christmas advert in pitch black because his wages mean United can no longer afford lights. Lucas Moura having to immediately complete his Spurs hazing by getting high-fived on Heung-min Son's production line like that cool teacher in America. Aston Villa's insane Alexa-based Lewis Grabban announcement in which the chief executive is really just showing off that he's got Amazon Prime. And finally, Arsenal accidentally releasing a video of Wenger talking about Aubameyang signing a day early. Very meta, that one. Since then, we've also had the contract signing announcement video with Roberto Firmino offering us a no-look signature. Those haven't caught on though, thankfully, after it was discovered that while looking away, Roberto Firmino's contract was swapped out and he accidentally signed up to play for free. Which is a slightly different joke to last time. Very slightly different. Very slightly different. Number 3, Arsenal. Finally, on the last day of the season, they won an away point in 2018. But we all know that was just to give Arsene a victorious send-off. Because after what feels like a decade of doing these videos and mocking the never-ending, increasingly embarrassing, surprisingly expensive Wenger out campaign, 99.9% of the guys on Arsenal Fan TV have their wish. Arsene Wenger is dead to Arsenal. He's not their manager anymore, basically. I don't really understand how to give news. And at the time of filming, it seems he's now going to be replaced by Mikel Arteta, with Arsenal fans once again divided in opinion. Some of them already phoning up the banner printers and plane hire companies, while others are just praying that he stole some documents from Pep Guardiola. Well, congratulations, Arsenal. You don't know what you've got till it's gone. Sure, your new guy might be able to zip up a coat on the first attempt, and he might have a frankly, threateningly impressive head of hair. But can Luke Kempner do an impression of him? Probably not. Probably not. Arteta's world, that does not have a ring to it. Number 2, VAR. Absolutely all over the place all year. From the abysmal lines drawn on the screen by a child to deny Juan Mata an FA Cup goal, to the 3 minutes waiting time then reversed penalty decision in Fiorentina versus Juventus. Failure to be used in vital moments such as Willian being booked for diving after what was a clear penalty, or not being used to overturn an offside goal because a flag was obstructing the camera's view at the exact relevant moment in a Boa Vista match, which literally translated means good view. Christ! Those are just 4 examples. There's literally loads more. If by loads you mean 5, there are 5 more examples. Still very much a work in progress, VAR. Luckily, the next use of it is at the World Cup. And where's the World Cup? Oh, only at the home of hackers. Number 1, Jamie Carragher. Remember him? No one's seen him for 15 years. Or like since March. Why? Oh, just because he spat on a little girl. Driving along, being goaded about United beating Liverpool by an absolute piece of work in the car next to him, Jamie Carragher rolled down his window and spat perfectly through the window of the goader's car. It's a fantastic effort, perfect aim, slots it right into the back. It's the sort of finish you can only do from training and practicing. He knows where the window is without even looking. That little girl has no chance of stopping that. He got suspended by Sky until the end of the season, and it appears he's not involved in any UK World Cup coverage either. Maybe he'll come back next season and we'll have forgotten about it. Football fans famously have short memories and hate banter, ribbing, mockery and tomfoolery. And now, because everyone took me at face value when I said I was 43 years old last week, let me clarify. What you just witnessed was sarcasm. I don't mean those things I just said. I mean the opposite of them. Not everything you see is real. For example, oh. Good luck in your exams. That's it for Football F***Ups. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next season, maybe, if I can be bothered. Until then, I'm off to draw some drafts of the new Leeds badge. Goodbye forever, probably. Outtakes. And maybe when you fail them, you'll be applying for jobs soon. They will fail. You will fail. It's because you're watching this. Revise. You don't know shit.